Good morning and welcome to Unity Center of Stockton. Happy Sunday, everyone. I am Reverend Mary Ann Friend, and I would just like to personally welcome everyone here today, you beautiful people, and all of you people out there in Facebook land and YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Come in person. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up in December. So happy holidays and welcome. So we have today with us Reverend Mitch Austin. Yay! Woo! He is an amazing person. And our musician today is Leilani Hollywood, my dear friend. Our technician is Mr. Glenn Gomez. And our usher today is Mr. Willie Smith. Welcome. So good morning and welcome to Unity, a safe place to come home to your spirituality. So let's stand up this morning, and Leilani's going to sing a song for us.
Stand and dance. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone all the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, one more time, why not? Bright, sunshiny day. Look all around. Look all around. There's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. I'm testing you. And I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone all the dark clouds that had me blind. Let's sing it twice. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. One more time. Yeah, it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day.
So let us take a collective breath in and just let it go, letting go of anything that's come before the now. As we drop into the eternal presence of Spirit, always with us on this human journey, this presence that is all loving, all wise, is never born and never dies. There is no spot. This love, this wisdom is not. And I know it is going out before us today in the unfolding of this divinely appointed service, and each and every person called to witness community, prayer, uplifting music, meditation, and the message. And so I claim and I name right now that each and every heart is expanded, every mind opened to its next divine unfolding, this next up-leveling, as each of us are called to be an expression of good, of God on the planet. So I just know that what needs to be said will be said today, what needs to be heard will be heard, what needs to be healed will be healed. And I give thanks for this. I give thanks for this powerful time together in community with the presence, with the one. And so I claim that this service is already done perfectly, powerfully, lovingly, with the utmost wisdom and healing energy. And so I release this word into the one, into good, into God. I simply let it go, I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. So it is. Blessed be.
Okay, now we are going to do our December affirmations. So I'm going to repeat them first, and then if you repeat after me together. Faith. With expectant faith, I am optimistic and confident. Together. With expectant faith, I am optimistic and confident. Peace. Centered in peace, I broadcast peace on earth and goodwill to all. Together. Centered in peace, I broadcast peace on earth and goodwill to all. Love. I demonstrate the harmony of love through kind acts and thoughts. I demonstrate the harmony of love through kind thoughts and acts. Joy. Knowing God is my source, I count my blessings and spread joy. Knowing God is my source, I count my blessings and spread joy. Life. I celebrate the birth of Christ's consciousness within my body, mind, and spirit. Together, I celebrate the birth of Christ's consciousness within my body, mind, and spirit. Now we're going to do our vision and mission statements together.
We are an
Expanding community of conscious evolvement, bringing timeless wisdom. We welcome all who are in search of a higher purpose and a greater connection to the divine presence in each of us. And our mission statement, Unity Center of Stockton's mission is to raise awareness and understanding of unity principles and universal truth, which inspires a higher expression of living. And now our favorite part, time to greet and hug each other. If you're not a hugger, get your hand out fast. Hi, Antoinette. So we have some exciting announcements for December going through the rest of the year. Next Sunday, we are having a potluck. As you can see, we have a new tree. So bring an ornament next week if you didn't bring one today. Bring an ornament and a salad or whatever you would like to share next week, because we're going to have a nice potluck after the service. And then on Christmas Eve, which is Sunday, the following Sunday, we will have our Unity Candlelight service. And then on December 31st, which is also a Sunday, we will be having our Burning Bowl service. So be thinking about what you want to leave behind in 2023. Make a list, whatever you want to do, but we're going to let it all go the last day of the year. It's going to be a powerful service. And what else? Any other announcements anyone has? Remember the ornaments, yes.
Just wonder what time is on Christmas Eve and also New Year's.
They're all, it's going to be the regular time, 10:30.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And then you can go be with your family for the rest of the day.
So it's Christmas Eve, but it's
Christmas Eve morning is a Sunday morning.
Okay. Oh, and that's okay. So
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So now can I invite our chaplain to stand up? If you want to experience powerful affirmative prayer, this is our person right here, our prayer chaplain for the day, Mr. Glenn Gomez. Thank you for your service. And now settle into our seats, and I'm going to do the daily word, and then we'll move into our meditation. So let's just take a collective deep breath together, and as we let it out, just let out a sigh and come into this present moment. Sunday, December 10th. The word for the day is peace. Peace is the song of my heart. As the Advent journey continues, I seek to embody peace. No matter what might be happening around me, I can rise above that which troubles and distracts me, all that takes my attention away from my spiritual life and my relationship with God. Peace is always mine, an aspect of my divine identity. When peace feels far away, I take it as a cue to center myself in spirit. I return to the practices that calm my mind and open my heart. As I relax and enter the silence, I touch the peace and perfection of God and claim that peace as my own. Returning to activity, I carry peace with me. I bring harmony to my interactions, calm to my reactions, and tranquility to every corner of my life. I won't just be peaceful. I will be peace itself. And from Jude 1, verse 2, may mercy, peace, and love be yours in abundance.
Many nights we pray with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We're moving mountains long before, oh, we knew we could. There can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to give. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe somehow you will when you this time I feel when prayer so often proves in vain. Hope seems like a summer bird's too swiftly flown away. And now I'm standing here, my heart so full I can't explain, seeking faith and speaking words I never thought I'd say. Hey, there can be miracles when you believe. Though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe somehow. You will when you believe. There can be miracles. Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe somehow. You will when you believe.
And as we continue in this vibration of belief, of connection with spirit, dropping into that innermost chamber of our being, that piece of the divine that lives within us, that the world could never diminish, harm, or change, that piece of perfection. And it is into this space I invite you to call forth its healing presence, this loving kindness and compassion that lives within our bodies, our minds, and our spirit. Feeling this peaceful, grace-filled vibration. I invite you to repeat these phrases in your mind. May I be held in loving kindness. May I be happy and safe. May I be healthy in body and in mind. May I always have enough. May my heart know peace. And take a breath. Now I invite you to call a loved one to mind, or perhaps someone you may have some distance or disconnect with. Call them fully into your mind. See them and repeat these phrases to them. May you be held in loving kindness. May you be happy and safe. May you be healthy in body and in mind. May you always have enough. May your heart no peace. And take another breath. And now call forward in your mind a group of people, places, or countries that are suffering. Maybe it's the Ukraine, maybe it's a group of family members, a community. And speak these words in mind to them. May they be held in loving kindness. May they be happy and safe. May they be healthy in body and in mind. May they always have enough. May they know peace in their hearts. And sit in the vibration of these words. And let's take a cleansing breath in. Full breath, letting it out as we come back into our bodies, wiggling our fingers and toes. Back fully into the room as the lights come on. Refreshed, present, here now to receive. Good morning. I'm back.
Yay!
I feel like I was just here, like I've never left. You guys are amazing. And I'll be back on February 25th, I think also. Yes, yes. And thank you for your kind welcome. Let's give it up for the music again. Isn't Leilani amazing? And this Christmas tree is a small Christmas miracle. There was all kinds of channeling going on to get the lights on. So thank you to Glenn. Good job, Glenn. So as you know, I'm a newly baby minted minister. And in ministerial school, they teach us a minister's job is to comfort the afflicted. It is. And they also say it's to afflict the comforted. So we might have a little of that today, just a little foreshadowing. We got any Joel Osteen fans in the room? I listen to him all the time. I love him. You know, he actually got up in front of his thousands of people, and he said that we should never put down anyone's religion or system of belief. Because he said, and he said this, he said, we're all missing it somewhere, including us. And I love that he said that, because it gives us permission to embrace all systems on some level, knowing we all have a little piece of God in our teaching. And he loves to start off his talks with a joke. So guess what? I'm going to start it off Joel Osteen style right here. I love this joke, so good time. So a man dies, he goes to heaven, and Peter meets him at the pearly gates and said, this is how it works. You need 100 points to get into heaven. So tell me the good things you've done, and I'll give you a point for each item. When you reach 100 points, I'll let you in. Okay, the man says, well, I was married for 50 years. I never cheated on her, not even in my heart. Wonderful, Peter says. That's worth 3 points. 3 points, the man says. Well, I attended church all my life and supported with my tithe and service. Terrific, Peter says. That's certainly worth a point. 1 point? You got to be kidding me, the man says. Okay, how about this? I started a soup kitchen in the city and I worked in a shelter for the homeless. Fantastic, Peter says. That's good for 2 points. The man says, 2 points. The man cries, at this rate, the only way I'll get into heaven is by the grace of God. Then Peter says, and come on in. Isn't that a good one? I love that one. So who would like to have an experience of wholeness in some area of your life? You know, we have different areas of our life, whether it's health, our health life, our money life, our relationship life, maybe our work environment, something that's out of balance. Anybody like a little more wholeness in some area? And or maybe it's with yourself. You know, sometimes we have a war within ourself that we want to experience and know the wholeness, the truth of our being, to reconnect with that wholeness no matter what condition goes on. And if you were at my talk a couple weeks ago, we talked about that the presence of heaven is within. It's always with us. It never leaves us. But there's some things that drag us out of it, yes? So today we're going to take that to another level. You know who knows about wholeness despite conditions is Nick Vujicic. Nick is a motivational speaker. He travels the world. He golfs. He swims. He has a wife and kids. And he also has a condition called tetra amelia syndrome. He was born with a head, a torso, and what he calls a flipper. He has no arms and no legs. And yet he still lives a full and vibrant life in spite of those conditions. This world was not built for his body. But he didn't let that stop him. He didn't tell himself a story that kept him limited. And so we're going to focus on that aspect of reconnecting with our wholeness that's already there to transcend that condition. Because conditions are not a power. What's the one power? What's the one power? Love. By whatever name. Love, spirit, God, presence. That's the power. Conditions are not a power. So we need to remember that in our walk towards wholeness. And we've got to do this one powerful thing. And that's why I called today's talk, Throw Off the Robe. We got to throw off the robe of our limiting stories, because it's easy to get wrapped up in them. If anybody had a reason to put on a robe of a limiting story, it's certainly Nick, yes? And there's 5 steps that we're going to talk about to bring us back to that connection. So I love what Maya Angelou has to say about this. She says, look, you don't need another person, place, or thing to make you whole. God already did that. Your job is to know it, So these 5 steps that we're going to take is steps that we can all embrace and move past this limiting story or any condition that we see in our lives. And I want to use a little story from the Bible, Mark in chapter 10, verses 46 through 52. So 6 little powerful verses to tell us a story, how to reconnect with our wholeness. And it's the story of Bartimaeus, the blind man. Who's heard of that story? A few people? So Bartimaeus actually stands for unclean, or being dark in your consciousness, not having sight of the truth. Losing sight of the truth is what his name represents. So this is how the story goes. Jesus was gaining some momentum. He was on his tour, and he was entering the town of Jericho, which was towards the end of his journey, and we all know how that turned out, right? So there he is. He's gained all of these fans, all these people following him. And they're there on the street corner in Jericho. And Bartimaeus is on the corner, blind man, begging. And he hears a commotion. And he realizes that the commotion is because Jesus is in town. And he can hear all the people. And so he shouts out, "Son of David, have mercy on me." Big crowd, right? And the people hear him saying that, and they shush him. Yeah, shush, shush, shush. Jesus don't want to be bothered with you. And you know what Bartimaeus does? He shouts louder, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." And then Jesus stops, goes to one of his people and says, "Call him." And so his people, because Jesus got people, goes over to Bartimaeus and says, "Cheer up," to Bartimaeus. "Get on your feet. He's calling you." Now here's the thing. Bartimaeus didn't just get up and walk over. Here's what he did. He did something very powerful. That's why this story is so powerful. He leaps up and he throws off his robe. And he goes over to Jesus, and Jesus says, now Jesus can see that he's blind. He doesn't just heal him. He asks him a question. Jesus says, "What do you want me to do for you?" He asks a question, and the blind man says, "Rabbi, I want to see." And Jesus responds, "Go. Your faith has healed you." I didn't heal you. Your faith has healed you. And immediately, Bartimaeus sees, and he goes with Jesus. This is very important. There's nothing left over, no miscellaneous stuff in the Bible. He goes with Jesus. Jesus represents spirit, the way, Christ consciousness. So he's going with spirit now. He's going with Christ consciousness. He's not begging at the side of the road anymore. And here's the thing. Every story in the Bible is you and I. And so sometimes we're the beggar. Sometimes we're blind to the spiritual truth underneath the experience that we're having. I know I had some car troubles this past month. My same Ford broke twice in 3 months. And I'm sitting there going, lamenting my situation. Tired of this car, wondering what this is about, and getting hooked in the condition. But then I came back to a truth, and I said to Spirit, I said, "Show me how good comes of this." And then what happened was I ended up getting a great loan for a hybrid car with very few miles, and I got $2,500 off of it. It was like a great deal because nobody's selling cars right now. Now I'm in a safer car, spending less gas with a better loan than I had before. But it's easy to stop right at the problem and paint the whole situation as bad when we're actually being taken on a journey. So sometimes we're blind. So let's unpack this story for the 5 steps. What's the first thing the blind man did? Is he reached out. He reached out for his good. Didn't matter he was on the street corner. Didn't matter he couldn't see where Jesus was. He did what he could do with full faith. "Son of David, have mercy on me." He could use his voice. Couldn't walk, couldn't see him, but he used his voice, right? Here's the thing. We got to use our voice, even when people shush us. Well, who are you to think that you could do that? I remember when I wanted to speak at a spiritual center, I wasn't even a minister. You think I got some who are yous? I did. But I didn't let it stop me, right? Because I'm on a mission. I have a vision. So we need to reach out, and then we need to push past that resistance. That part of us that tells us, who are you? You're too old. You're too broke. Or you're not in shape. Or no one will listen to you. You know those voices? We got to push past the internal committee and the external committee. That's step number 2. And then step number 3 is really the core of today's message, is we've got to let go of the story we have about the condition. Here's the thing. When Bartimaeus threw off that robe was significant in those times. He was issued that robe by the government, and that's what they did back then. They issued a robe to people who were so indigent they couldn't work, and they were licensed by wearing the robe to beg. He could legally beg. So when he leapt up and threw off the robe, couldn't even see yet, he gave up his story that he needed that robe. Could you imagine if this played out in real time today? If Bartimaeus was alive today, and let's say a friend comes to him who's a business whiz, and Bartimaeus says, look, I have this idea about a business, and the business whiz guy says, great, I'll support you. And then he calls up, because he's on welfare, he calls up welfare and goes, hello, my name is Bartimaeus. Yeah, could you stop sending checks? Right? Hadn't made him dollar yet. Hadn't made a dime, but he has full faith that it's going to work. You know, when he threw off that robe, there were 10 people scrambling in the streets for it. Like, no, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. And he could have argued for his limitations when he was shushed. Yeah, you're right. Jesus is busy. Look, I can hear all those people. Who am I? I'm just a beggar. I'm just a blind man. Nobody sees me. Nobody cares. And that's my story. And that would have been his story. But he didn't let it be his story. Nick Vujicic, can't say his name, didn't let his body be his story. And that's where our power is. Because there's a temptation to wrap ourselves up in that story. Sometimes that story becomes a protective mechanism. I actually call that a secondary benefit. I remember 4 or 5 years ago on the job, I would let my boss know and everyone know I had diverticulitis. So sometimes it pops up, and if it pops up, you know, I don't feel good. And so when it popped up, I would tell people I have it, and then they wouldn't expect so much of me. Little something, little benefit in wearing that robe of unwellness. Or have you ever met somebody at a party and they tell you they're divorced and they go through all the details of the divorce and what happened, and you go, well, how long ago did that happen? And they're like, oh, 15 years ago. Anybody meet that person? What's the benefit? Attention, sympathy. They can't let go of the robe. They're still getting paid. So our work is to look at that. Or maybe it's money. You know, sometimes we tell people, oh, I ain't broke, I ain't got no money. Because, like, don't expect no Christmas gifts from me. Don't have any expectations. You know who copped to this syndrome? Anybody got it? Mel Robbins? Any Mel Robbins fans? She was on video, and she was spilling her own tea. So I'm just repeating the story here. She said that she used to tell herself that she's just a bad person because she would get in relationship with somebody and she would always cheat on them, always. And she would just say, well, I'm just a bad person. That's the robe she would wear. So she didn't have to change her behavior, right? So our work is to look at ourselves not with shame or blame or judgment, but just to think of that area that's not whole. Is there a robe I'm wearing? What robe of limitation? What story am I telling myself that's keeping me stuck? Not the condition, the story I have. In July of 2022, I had a choice about what robe I was going to wear because I came down with a mystery illness. The muscles in my legs would ripple uncontrollably. I had brain fog so bad I couldn't cook anymore, I couldn't think. I'd walk 40 feet and I'd break out into a sweat. Nobody could tell me what was going on. The doctors ran all these tests, they didn't know. And they kept throwing pills at me. I mean, I had like a whole lineup of pills. And I began to think, is this my new normal? Am I gonna have to go out on workman's comp? Because I can't work. And I started to go down that road. I was hooked. I was wearing the robe. But then I remembered, there's power for good and I can use it. I remembered that when I partner with God, with Spirit, with the all-knowing, all-wise, all-loving presence, that's no spot that it's not. We can take this on. So I remember I was walking and I said to God, look, I'm going to heal this. I made a decision. I'm going to heal this, even if I don't know how. And I said, God, you and I are in partnership. And then I did whatever I could do. Bartimaeus yelled out. I walked 40 feet. I quit sugar, gluten, and I love sourdough bread. Drank water instead of soda. And then as I started to do things, Spirit showed up. You know how that is? The Energy Healer, the book on intermittent fasting. And not even a year later, not only did I heal this condition, because I'm wearing the robe of victory, I healed my high blood pressure, my fatty liver, and my diverticulitis. But what if I had kept that first robe, that first story? I wouldn't be here with you. I don't even know if I'd be on the planet. That's the power of these principles and this practice of putting on a different robe. And then the fourth thing that Bartimaeus did is he asked, but he didn't just ask, he believed. So when we ask, we need to believe. God, we're going to heal this. I believed. I didn't know how. We don't need to know how. I'm sure the blind man didn't know how Jesus did his thing, right? So this is where we step into our point of power. When we release that old story, we step into a new one, asking with faith that this transition is already in process to us, even if we don't know how. And then Jesus responded, go. Your faith has healed you. I didn't do anything. Your faith has healed you. Here's how Ernest Holmes talks about this creative power that we have within us to heal and to transition conditions. Ernest says the creative power of the word is not something we inject power into, but something we draw out from the power from which lives within us. You know, sometimes we say we put power in our word. No, our word draws. It draws that power into a specific form based on the word and the belief we have in it. We call that the creative process. And then I don't want us to miss this last step. This is very important. It says that Bartimaeus goes with Jesus, goes with Spirit, goes with Christ consciousness. You ever use some spiritual principles in your life, got better? You did the prayers and you did the meditation, and then like you kind of just slacked off, and then stuff started to change again, and then you went, oh, I'm not doing my meditation, I'm not doing my prayer. And you kind of wake up again and you start doing it. See, that's our work, is to go with Spirit. And when we forget, to return, right? To return. Because really, the work as metaphysicians and as people working these principles is to stay a little more awake and less asleep. A little more awake and less asleep. I remember having an experience of my own growth in this area. You know, I remember 8 years ago, if I broke up with somebody, I was depressed for months. I was wearing that robe and telling everybody about it for longer than they wanted to hear about it. Let's be honest. And about 5 months ago, I unfortunately broke up with my girlfriend. And I think I threw a pity party for about 3 weeks. That's it. And then I was happy again. So I closed the gap. I didn't waste that most precious resource we have, time. We can get back stuff, right? But we can't get back time. And how are we going to spend it? Because here's the thing. Whatever you're paying attention to is the experience you're purchasing. Whatever you're paying attention to is the experience you're purchasing. And so when we realize that we have a story on us, when we wake up to that story, we can say to ourselves, what other story could I say about this? Right? When I said, God, show me how even this car breaking down is a good thing, I was open to a new story. Right? When I had the illness, right, I was open to a new story. This was not going to be my story. And we all have that power because it lives within us. No matter who we are, no matter where we came from, no matter how many mistakes we made in the past, all all fully sourced right now for wholeness in every area of your life without exception. And no matter how long that pattern has been there, God's not impressed. Unlimited source. So there's no spot that God is not, and it can do everything. So what does that leave out? Nothing. Not one thing. So let's review the 5 steps. Let us remember to reach out to our good. So think about that area right now that you want to have some restored wholeness in. Maybe it's money, maybe it's health, maybe it's connection, friendship, love, whatever it is. What could you reach towards? What is your reach towards? When I was sick, it was my 40 feet of walking. I could do that. Because beginnings have power in them. Reach out to that good and push past anything right now. Your mind might be popping up going, well, that isn't enough. That won't fix it. Push past the doubts. Push past anything anyone has told you about who you are. Because if they told you you couldn't do something, they didn't know you. They didn't meet you. They didn't meet the power within you. And then let go of the story. It's scary. It's hard because when we let go of the story and we're not in the new story yet, we don't know who we are. It's that space in between. I think that's why retirement is really difficult for a lot of people. Because when you're not the bus driver or the manager or the nurse or whoever you are and you retire, you're in this space in between where you haven't become into the new life. And that's when we really need to lean into our spiritual practices, our prayer, our vision, our calling forth. And then ask and believe when you catch that vision of your wholeness, of your next expression, ask and know that it is done and partner with the divine that wants what you want, the meditations of your heart, nothing too small or too tall for God to deliver. And then remember to stay with spirit. So in that area that you want to experience a little more wholeness, a little more demonstration, ask yourself, where could I partner with spirit? Where could I return to spirit in this area? Maybe it's a journaling practice, meditation, prayer with Glenn. Maybe it's going back to walking or working out, whatever it is. Identify that. Because here's the deal. There is a power in your life that God is truly the only power. You don't beat your heart. You don't grow your hair. Your alarm clock may have woke you, but spirit actually woke you, yes? So there's a power for good. And I want to end on this little prayer by Jack Addington. It's a beautiful prayer. So I'm just going to invite you right now to take a deep breath. Let it out and allow these prayerful words to wash over you. God is the only power in my life. Nothing from without can touch the perfect life of God within me. I am a perfect child of God, and nothing anyone has ever done or said can interfere with my divine inheritance. The power of God is greater than any circumstance in my life. The strength of God is mine to use. Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy, I discover all that I need is within me now. As I forgive the past, I find that I have nothing to atone for and nothing to run away from. Casting off the old me, I discover my true self. I take dominion in my life. Old habits have no power over me. Conditions have no power over me. Personalities have no power over me. I take dominion. I am whole. I am free. I am complete. Now and forevermore. And together we say, and so it is. Blessed be. Thank you so much. give it up for Leilani.
I don't know if you can hear me there. Oh, happy day, happy day. Oh, happy day, oh, happy day. When Jesus was, when Jesus was, when Jesus was, He washed my sins away. Oh, happy day, oh, happy day. He taught me how to watch, fight and pray, fight and pray. He and I live rejoicing every day, every day. Oh, happy day, oh, happy day, oh, happy day, oh, happy day. When Jesus was, when Jesus was, sins away. Oh, happy day, oh, happy day, oh, happy day. When Jesus was, when Jesus was, my sins away. Oh, happy day, oh, happy day, oh, happy day, oh, happy day, oh, happy day. Happy day. Hey!
Wow, that was amazing and powerful. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. I'll be practicing those steps all week. Hopefully I'll remember and stay connected to Spirit, to God, and go with them. Remember the rules. And thank you, Leilani. So now is our offering time. So if you want to take your offerings in your hand, and we are going to do our unity blessing. Ready? Okay. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
So I just give thanks for these generous gifts, the energy of money flowing through this center and out into the world, and that it blesses and expands each and every person that comes in contact. Push down, flowing over, abundantly, richly, vibrantly, with love and kindness. And together we say, so it is.
Okay, let's gather around and sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us.
I am that light. The God of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Amen. See that girl with the diamonds in her shoes, yeah. She walks around like she got nothing to lose, yeah. She's a go-getter, she's everybody's type, yeah. Made of the city and she don't believe that how she's got her own elevation, holy motivation. So write the letters on a big bold top. I got faith in you, baby. I got faith in you now. And you've been such a good friend to me. You know that I love you somehow. I met you, hallelujah. Got faith, yeah. See that boy with the Stevie Wonder swag, yeah. Ain't got no clue at the magic that he has. He's a go-getter. He's everybody's type. I'ma make it my mission, make it feel alright. He's a 12 on a tempo, rocking out of his joint. Just say the word 'cause I can sing it all night. I got faith for you, baby. I got faith in you now, yeah. You've been such a good friend to me, and know that I love you somehow. I met you, hallelujah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I get around you and my heart goes crazy. I get around you and my heart goes crazy. I get around you and my heart goes crazy as I love you and you got faith. Thanks for having me, you guys.